But Mark gets in too. Everyone paused. Rico blinked. Huh? Upon me staring. Where's my fucking phone? I'm gonna start playing music.
Good.
Stellaris ambience is not good or not useful. It's just me looking at a cockatrice.
It's Lego Batman.
Lego Batman cockatrice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we start the fire like she didn't believe she done it. I did that, she said. Jack grabbed her arm. Yeah, you did it. Now we leave. They ran. Ryuko didn't chase. Gary stared at the fire. Then Ryuko. Fire's pretty, he states. Yeah, Ryuko says, let them go. For now. Uh, I'm changing my pajamas real quick. My legs are cutting into my leg. My legs are cutting into my legs. My pants are cutting into my legs.
Damn.
Is that Georgie I heard? The
Nah, that's
succulent
Shiloh.
beast.
Call him a don't call him a succulent.
The beast.
That's better.
The goat. You own goats, right?
No. Why did you think
You
that?
don't.
I have sheep in my attic.
Oh yeah. Can you replace them with cannibalistic goats instead? Um, Better than ever, Mark Terwin and General Irwin had already fortified the foundry, barricades, elevated firing positions, kill lanes, a stronghold. And then the front gates exploded inward. Frank Horgan stepped through it like a building that offended him. Behind him, Adam Smasher. Crushed what remained of the doorframe. Ironwood didn't flinch. Contact, heavy targets. Mark grinned. Good. Gunfire erupted. Ironwood's precision shots slammed through Horgan's armor, staggering him but not stopping him. Mark charged forward, blade flashing, meeting Smasher head on. They traded brutal heavy strikes, metal versus steel, brute force versus skill. Meanwhile, Ironwood adjusted position, firing controlled bursts to smash joints. Horgan roared and charged straight to the gunfire. Ironwood pivoted, too slow. Horgan slammed into him like a truck, sending him crashing through a metal railing. Mark saw it. Ironwood! For a moment, the distracted costume, Smasher drove a fist to Mark's ribs, sending him skidding across the floor. Ironwood struggled to rise from the wreckage. Horgan loomed over him, too weak. Ironwood steadied himself, raising his weapon for one last time. For Atlas, Horgan crushed him into a concrete with a downward strike. He's dead.
Damn.
Mark roared in fury and charged Smasher again, but this time not to win, to break through. He slammed Smasher aside with reckless brutal strike, vaulted a side exit, and into the rain. Yes, a red and black knight running to the rain. Smasher turned to pursue. Horgan stopped him. Let him run. Why? Smasher tilted his head, angry. Horgan turned towards the rest of the city. He will lead us to others. At the cemetery again, but this time it doesn't end as peacefully. Rain fell heavier, fog thicker, lightning more frequent. Dracula and Griffith stood among the graves. Across them, Alcard and Leon Kennedy. Leon raised the pistol slightly. What are we doing this now? We're doing this now? Dracula smiled faintly. You came back. That implies intent. Alcard stepped forward. Oh, yeah. Get out or die. We don't have another option, do we? Uh, the first duel. Leon fires first. 3 clean shots. Griffiths deflected one, avoiding another, the third grazing his side. Alcard moved in, blade flashing towards Dracula. Dracula caught it. Steel met supernatural force. Still defiant, Dracula remembered. Still wrong, Alcard replied. They fought like mirrored images, fast, precise, and relentless. Meanwhile, Leon and Griffith clashed in the mud. Leon using gunfire and knife to knife work to keep distance. Griffith closing with terrifying grace. Leon baited him. One step back, 2 slip. Griffith lunged for an opening. Leon dropped low and fired upwards. The shot hit center mass. Griffith staggered. Leon did hesitate. Second shot. Griffith fell. Dead.
Shit.
He's the goat. The goat. Draco saw Griffith's fall, and for that first time, he looked angry enough. He surged forward. Alcard buried back, blocked the strike that followed. The ground cracked into the forest. Liam grabbed Alcard's arm. Time to go. Alcard hesitated and nodded. They retreated into the fog. Dracula stood among the graves, rain pouring over him, fury and absolute quiet. The music returned, louder, closer. This time it didn't pass. It stopped. Inside the abandoned townhouse, Mikon, Samugi, and Kobeni froze. Kobeni whispered, "He's here." Mikon shook violently. "Maybe we can hide." Then the wall exploded inwards. Mr. Rex walking through it. Kobeni screamed and ran. Mikon scrambled backwards, sobbing, "Please, I didn't." Mr. X didn't speak. He grabbed her and crushed her neck.
God damn, yeah.
Kobeni ran to the rain, crying, not looking back. Mr. X didn't chase, and the music fades. I think we can hide. Fucking wall explodes.
Yep.
Jason Grundy. Back in industrial London, Jinx dropped from a catwalk, laughing. Round 2, Gas Man. Caustic didn't even look amused. I don't even remember them fighting the first time.
They did.
It's probably, honestly, I skipped some fucking bullshit in chapter 1 because I didn't want to read it. That probably happened. On 2, Gas Man, Caustic didn't look amused. Your unpredictability is statistically irritating. Grundy charged straight through the gas cloud. Teddy said he back up. Too late. Grundy grabbed Caustic and slammed him to a pipe. Teddy fired. Jinx tackled her from the side, both crashing to a crate. Caustic tried to rise. Grundy didn't let him. One crushing blow, then another. The gas man stopped moving.
Good.
Teddy screamed, scrambling away as Jinx laughed, covered in soot and rain. Oops, she didn't chase. Not yet. She had Solomon Grundy too. My first person shooter.
Yeah.
I made a new first person shooter. Main character, Solomon Grundy.
Happy to be here.
His ability, a hero shooter. All of them Solomon Grundy.
I play it. Just punch people. There's no shooting.
Yeah, the hero shooter without shooting, just Grundy.
Yep.
A hero Grundy. Solomon Grundy likes Latinas.
Good to know.
Bad Americans.
America.
Do push-ups while I wait for it to load. Cool. How many push-ups can you do? 3, 17, 42, 32.
Holy shit.
What?
So fast.
Yeah. I could do one-arm push-ups, which was crazy at work today.
Nice.
Ring-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a, ring-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a. Hoppa-toppa-got-you-got-the-got-the-got-the-now. The city was still massive. Blah, blah, blah. The Thames was black, choppy, and full of drift and wreckage. Warehouse leaned over slick, cobbled lanes. Cranes cracked in the wind. Path Phasma still opening alone from elevated positions. Slave 1 flew low and dangerous by Sprout Mike and Jonathan Edwards. The damaged but still barely functional Millennium Falcon with Goopy Grande, and Goopy Grande somehow was insisting they still had a plan. Phasma lay prone across to the rain-slicked customs house. Roof, chrome armor, ghostly in storm, rifle braced on stones. Corner ice. Below, Falcon crawled out of its warehouse crash site and shrieked of abused metal. Inside the cockpit, Pilot Goopy was sweating despite being a slime. Okay, this is fine, he said. Co-pilot Goopy started speaking panel. This ship is on fire. Okay, in emotional sense. The left side is literally on fire. Details. Above the river, Slave 1 rolled through the storm. Hard banking patterns, engine winding unevenly. Sprubble Mike had both hands locked on the controls. Jonathan, you're my best friend and highly respected professional. But if you press another button without warning me, we are both going to die. Jonathan Edward, enormous black bear and absurdly composed combat pilot, growled once and pressed a different switch with one heavier paw. Mike screamed, that's exactly what I just told you not to do. Phasma saw both ships enter the sight lines and exhaled through her nose. Idiot. She fired. The shot cracked through the storm and punched Slave 1 into lower stabilizing housing. Not a killing hit, but a control hit. Mike yelped and the ship lurched sideways. We're tagged! Jonathan roared and reared the control yoke as the craft dipped towards the cranes. The Falcon, seeing the movement, veered the wrong way at the exact wrong time. Co-pilot Goopy shouted, incoming bear ship. Pilot Goopy shouted back, I see the bear ship. We're not there. You're not reacting like someone who sees the bear ship. The two vessels cross. I hate Goopy. I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah.
The two vessels crossed dangerously low on the warehouse row, missing each other, but what felt like pure disrespectful physics. Plasma chambered a second round and smiled faintly underneath her helmet. The warehouse roof below her exploded upwards, not from a ship, but from inside. A cluster of pipe bombs planted earlier by some unknown opportunist, Ted Kaczynski, detonated from the vibrations and concussive overpressure near collision. Smoke and splinters geysered in the rain. One of the dock cranes gave a torture-metal groan and began to topple. Plasma rolled off her perch just as one crane smashed the rooftop she had occupied. Below, the Falcon clipped the ceiling crane and spun it violently across the warehouse. The side of the warehouse, sparks screamed on down the brick wall. Inside the cockpit, both Goopies were yelling, "This is your fault," at each other. Mike fought Slave 1 while Jonathan battered at warning lights, increasing authority. The ship separated at last, damaged, furious, but alive. Phasma rose from the rubble of her sniper nest, cloak soaked and sparkling, and watched both targets escape the immediate lane. She spoke into the storm with as if it finally complained, next time, no deaths yet. It's just her fucking sabotaging two pilots.
Yep. Two idiots.
4 idiots.
True, yeah.
I guess 3. It's Goopy.
Nah, it's 4.
The market district and station blocks had become tighter since the gate shifted. Alleys had once led 3 exits, not only ended in iron fences, rooftop walkways had collapsed, street-level survival was getting harder for the nervous teams. In a flooded arcade full of shattered storefronts and dead lamps, Jackson Palmy ran to 9S and Cosmo. Nobody attacked immediately. That made it worse. Palmy froze first. Oh no. Cosmo pointed. Okay, before anyone does anything stupid, I like to say I am strongly open to not fighting. Jackson rolled his eyes. That seems reasonable, suspiciously. 9S looks exhausted, rain dripping off his visor and coat. We're low on supplies, boxed in by gate closures, and the district is becoming a kill funnel. This is not diplomacy, that's math. Palmy stared between them. Wait. Are we having a normal conversation? Cosmo raised a finger. I'd like the record to show that, unlike most of the horrible city, I'm capable of a normal conversation. Bleh. Jack folded his arms, and what's the pitch? Cosmo grinned weakly. Temporary, not murder pact. 9S cuts in for district crossing, no betrayal unless fired upon. Wow, Jack says, you really managed to make a deal sound less appealing. Pommy whispers, Jax. He looked at her, the back of them, fine, but if either of you starts monologuing doing some anime portrayal shit, I'm gone. Cosmo pointed at Jax, that's fair. They moved together, four very different survivors, slipping in through drowned storefronts, tram lines, and while the rain hammered overhead. And then for 15 minutes, it felt like they could beat the city by being smart. Then the music started, low and steady, close,
Oh
excellent
shit.
video. Poppy made a noise somewhere between gas and internal collapse. No! Kazuma face drained, absolutely not. Nines looked towards the far end of the arcade, where the water rippled in around a broad shape, churning the cover. We split now. Jax already had Pommy wrist in hand. Gladly, Mr. X entered the flooded passage with all patience of a falling wall. He didn't sprint, he didn't need to. This chase snapped temporary alliances apart instantly. Kazuma, Ignatius shouted left. Kazuma yelled, that's not left, that's flooded. Jack shouted over to them, shut up and move. Mr. X strode after the nearest motion of Cosma. Of course it would be Cosma. Cosma shrieked and dove through the broken hat shop, splashing through water and collapsing mannequins. Mr. X smashed through the counter after him.
That's cool.
Doesn't vault it or anything, just walks through the counter.
Yep.
Um, Nias opens fire as a tight controlled burst, aiming for the head towards the knee. The rounds hit and slid Mr. X for about half a step. It wasn't enough, but it was enough for Jack to make the decision. He pointed down the side corridor at 9S and shouted, clock stairs. 9S did a hesitate. He veered that way, dragging Cosmo with him by the sleeve. Pommy and Jax cut another route, hurtling a falling display rack, climbing this service ladder to the upper walkway below them. Mr. X snapped. He looked at the first stairs and up at the catwalk. The music seemed to get louder. Pommy whispered, which way is he choosing? He's choosing us. Mr. X stepped towards the ladder, Pommy breathing turned ragged. Jax, don't panic. I'm already panicking. Then do it while climbing. She did. He scrambled across the upper walkway while Mr. X tore the ladder from the wall and dropped into the floodwater below. Then he walked to the support pillar and simply hit it. The whole catwalk shook. Pommy nearly fell. Jax caught her by the back of the coat and dragged her up. We move. The upper path ended in a broken stained glass roof over the old arcade junction. Behind them, metal screamed against Mr. X, found another route upwards. Jax looked left, right, then down, no safe options. Pommy saw it first. The old tram cable running above the street, half collapsed, but still stretched across. Pommy jumped. Jax swore and jumped after her. They hit the tram cable together and slid through the freezing rain over 30 feet span, sparks flashing. They crashed through a canvas awning on the far side of road and rolled through a flower shop of ruin and a shower of splintered wood and dead petals. Across the gap, Mr. X stood, shattered arcade roof, watching. Music pulsed. Then slowly he turned away. Elsewhere he found another trail. Jax lay on his back in broken stems and rainwater. I hate this city. Bobby says I hate it more. For once, neither of them were joking. After Ironwood's death, Mark had changed. He was still organized, still dangerous, but still a battlefield commander. But now there was a hot edge to him. A wrath sharpened by humiliation. He lost his partner. He had been forced to retreat, whereas Frank Horgan had lived. He couldn't stand that fact. Mark hunted the foundry districts with patience of a warlord and a mood. He found movements in the furnace corridors, but not the prey he wanted. Two shapes, Yang Xiaolong and Tony from Hotline Miami. Yang spotted him at almost the same moment. Well, you look upset. Mark lifted his sword in the rain and hissed. Leave. Tony said nothing, mask blinked, machete in one hand. Yang cracked her knuckles. You don't seem to leave me alone kind of mood. I am the kill the next person who wastes my time kind of mood. Tony tilts his head. Yang smiled. See, that's just a sound like an invitation. She rushed him, boots hammering at the iron walkway. Mark met her halfway, sword carving in a bright arc through the furnace glow. Yang slipped in the inside, first slash, and drove a gauntlet punch into his breastplate, hard enough to ring metal. Mark grunted, staggered, and answered with a brutal elbow to her temple. Nor came in low from the side, or Tony came in from low from the side, machete flashing from Mark's ribs. Mark pivoted and blocked with his armored forearm, then kicked Tony so hard he bounced off a pipe stack. Tony was already up. Yang shot at Tony. Tony was already up. Three collided again. An orange light rain stream. Yang fought like a box raised by explosions. All the momentum carried punishment. Tony fought like he had no future to preserve. Mark fought like he was trying to cut his way through them. Who are you even mad at? Yang shouted, driving the hook towards him. Not you, he stated. The Navy stopped trying to kill us. Yang attacked him first.
Sure.
He shoved her and slashed at Tony again, forcing the masked killer back towards the furnace rail. Tony ducked, grabbed the hanging chain, and swung across the channel the opposite walkway, buying space. Yang took the opening and... Sorry, the train's going by my house. I hear the train going. Yang took the opening, fired, point-blank gauntlet blast on Mark's chest. He flew backwards through the steam and slammed the gear housing. That reminds me of like a Ryan taking a picture with recoil. I don't know why.
Getting blasted back.
Fucking flies. Blood mouth, armor dented, eyes blazing. Good, he said in a lower voice. Finally. Now they might have kept going, or one of them might have died there. But the corridor behind them, Mark filled with different sound, heavy boots, metal and stone. Frank Horgan's silhouette appeared in the far archway. Behind him, Adam Smasher. All three fires turned at once. Yang muttered, "Oh, come on." Tony took one look and made the smartest decision of his life. He tugged Yang's sleeve once, and they bolted. Mark didn't stop them. His whole world has narrowed into the shape filling the arch ahead. Horgan's voice whirled through the heat. You came back. This time I don't leave. Smasher laughs. Now this is a chapter. Oh, great.
Breaking the fourth wall.
Am I listening to Tony music? I am.
Tony.
Malwick moved first, not a Horgan, but Smasher. Smart, fast. He knew Cyborg was more mobile than the more mobile threat. He is faster, but he's definitely not stronger.
Yeah.
So it's bit sparks off Smasher's shoulders, then he turned, chopping towards the next team before Smasher could fully react. Smasher caught the second strike in both hands, hydraulics whining. Mark slammed his head forward into Smasher's faceplate and ripped the blade free. You headbutted the robot. Horgan charged from the side and tanked with murder rights. Mark dove under the swing that felt like a displaced air hammer. His back rolled across the slick iron floor, came up with one knee, and hurled a broken furnace hook at Horgan's visor slit. It did not penetrate, but it did make Horgan angrier. Insignificant. Malric smiled, feral and exhausted. Smasher came in again, fast enough to ruin any prolonged duel. Mark barely blocked the arm blade strike, then he used the lock to wrench both of them sideways into the valve wheel. Steam exploded between them. For a few seconds, the whole foundry vanished into a hiss of heat. Horgan fired into the steam, metal shrieked, someone roared. When the vapor thinned, Smasher was on one knee, arm actuator spitting sparks where Mark had jammed into a valve assembly. Mark stood over him, blade raised. Horgan hit him from the side hard enough to lift him off the ground. Mark flew through a waist-high rail and hit the platform in a molten trough. He tried to stand. Smasher dropped from above like a missile, landing in front of him. Horgan descended the stairs more slowly because he could. He's aura farming. Sure. Marek looked from one to the other, laughed, breathless. Coward. Smasher grinned beneath the chrome. No, efficient. Marek came up anyway, sword low, shoulders square. Rain and furnace lights steam off of him. He was going to make them earn it, and he did. So he cut Smasher across the faceplate. He drove an armored knee into Horgan's gut seam. I really like that it knows about that gut seam.
The what?
Horgan only has his chest and I think knees covered with armor. Chest, head, and knees covered in armor. Everything else is bare skin.
Yeah. I remember that, I think.
Then Horgan got both hands on him. That was the end. Horgan lifted Mark by the breastplate, slammed him spine first into iron floor once, twice, and the third cracked stone beneath him. Mark still tries to raise the sword. Smasher stepped in, stamped his wrist until the weapon finally fell away. Horgan leaned over him. Your partner died weak. Mark bared bloody teeth, and he died fighting, and so will you. Horgan drove the fist through Mark's chest armor into the man beneath it. The warrior jerked once and died.
Damn.
Dracula had not forgotten Leon Kennedy. The graveyard showdown came in late in the afternoon. The lightning flashed wide over the ironworks and churned every raindrop into falling needles. Leon and Alcard moved through the cemetery with cautions, using mausoleums and raised crypts for cover. Leon checked the corner and muttered, "You ever get tired of every bad family reunion involving blood and lightning?" Is Alcard related to fucking whoever the hell?
Yeah, he's his son.
Oh, I was thinking about Helsing.
Oh, no.
That's why.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second. Because I thought Helsing, he also was named Alcard, and
Yeah,
he
that
was
is also
Dracula
Alucard.
himself.
Yeah.
Whatever. Um, You know, checked the corner and muttered, "You ever get tired?" But Alcard's eyes fixed on the fog ahead, answered dryly, "I would have welcomed a less theatrical venue." A voice drifted between the graves, but not a less necessary one. Dracula stepped in from the mist, coat dark with the rain. Leon raised his pistol. "You're gonna give us a speech first or after?" Dracula's eyes shifted on him. "I assumed the man who's with the firearm would be the impatient one." Alcard stepped out in front of Leon. "Sword drawn enough?" Dracula nodded once, agreed. Then he tethered like an old hatred remembering form. Uh, Alcard's blade came in high, then low, then reversed, and then cut in for the ribs. Dracula churned each strike with a hand sleeve in impossible timing, then answered the counter with that tore a gravestone in half when Alcard slipped by an inch. Leon signaled for a shot, not wasting rounds. He waited for the opening, rain streamed down the barrel. Now Alcard barked, Leon fired. Dracula twisted the bullet, tore through his shoulder instead of his throat. He looked at the wound and mildly insulted. He was in Leon's face before the recoil settled. Leon brought the pistol up sideways, blocking the killing strike with the metal bent in his hand. Then he rammed the combat knife towards Dracula's neck. Dracula caught the wrist. Both men locked an instant over a flooded gray path. "You are persistent," Dracula said. Leon grimaced. "Comes to the job." Alcard came in from the flank, blade flashing. Dracula released Leon to stop the strike that had saved Leon's life. It did not save the fight. The three toward the cemetery and burst over toppled markers through mausoleum doors, across crypts, roof slicks, and storm water. No speech now, no philosophy, just lineage, steel, and survival. Leon got his angle. He slid through the mud, braced one hand, and fired up the bars of a broken fence section. The shot struck Dracula high in the chest and churned him enough for Alcard next and leaned a clean strike. Dracula staggered. For the first time, his composure broke. He looked over from the wound to Alcard. He smiled, not warmly, but not warmly, not proudly, just knowing. "You can wound me," he said. He rain and blood mingling down his front. "You are not ready to finish me." He moved back, not clumsily, not desperate, with chosen retreat. He vanished into the thickening cemetery fog.
Oh shit.
Dracula's a pussy.
No. Tactical retreat.
Not every... What?
Tactical retreat.
Not every death in Victorian London was grand. Some were ugly, some necessary, some tactical. The slum districts near the river stairs become the territory of ambush predators, and the too unstable. The boss in the meta would eventually run into Trevor and Fran. Trevor was ranting before anyone even saw him. Rain pounded in the alley mouths as he paced underneath the butcher's awning, soaked to the skin, waving a stolen revolver at a brick wall. "I'm telling you," Trevor said, "the whole city is judging me. The buildings, the rain, the statues, especially the statues." Fran's voice came slow and oily. "Paranoia is often wisdom of a dying kingdom." Trevor jabbed a finger at him. See, that's what I mean. You say things like that, and suddenly I feel like I'm the curse." And from the rooftop above, the boss gave the meta a hand signal. Two targets, one unstable, one bizarre. Bad terrain. What the hell is that in my leg?
Bug.
Bug in my leg?
Yes.
The knotted drop, they both dropped together. Trevor's instincts were insane, but they were instincts. He heard the boot impact and spun immediately, firing wildly before he even saw the faces. Boss was already moving, rifle low, shoulder churning through the shots. The bullet missed her by inches. Oh, you chose the big boss.
Yeah.
Okay. blew out a lamp instead. Darkness deepened. Framp surged up from the cellar and roared that sounded like ancient wet. The meadows met him head on, driving a shoulder into the creature's bulk hard enough to slam him back into a stone stare mouth. Trevor laughed, a sharp, broken sound. There we go, that's more like it. He charged the boss with a revolver in one hand and cleaver in the other. She sidestepped, trapped his gun wrist, and drove the butt of her knife hand into his throat. Trevor stumbled, gagging, but swung a cleaver anyways, catching her coat. It's slicing cloth. Close, the boss said. Trevor coughed, grinning madly. You have no idea. He kicked the crate stacked behind him. The glass bottles shattered in the alley. Alcohol, the whole lane was suddenly stink of it. Meta still grappling Fran. Okay, I need to look up Meta.
Yeah. He can't
What,
talk.
like, what?
He can't talk.
Like, great antagonist.
Yep.
Okay, so it is just some dude.
Yeah.
As I say, if you're fighting Framped and like winning, like wrestling Framped, I should say, you have to be like something.
He is very strong.
He's a Spartan. Of course, he's strong.
Yeah.
Trevor laughs, a sharp, broken sound. There we go. That's more like it. Um, Trevor saw the recognition of and went ecstatic. Yeah, now you get it. He fired the lantern hook overhead. The boss moved instinctively, tackling both herself and Trevor sideways as the lantern dropped. It hit the outcall slick stone in the alley, went up in a roaring orange flame. Meta released Frampt and hauled himself backwards towards the ignition waves, but Frampt took the fire badly. His ancient flesh blackened and split as he writhed in the stairwell, shrieking in a language too old to pity. Trevor pinned half underneath Boss from the tackle, used a moment to headbutt her and wrench free. He came up coughing soot, half on fire, still trying to laugh. You people are great. The boss rose with a murder in her eyes. No, she said, you're loud. She shot him twice in the chest. Trevor staggered back into the burning alley and slid down it. He just stared at the fire as they tried to decide whether he approved. He stopped. At the other end, Framp tried to crawl up the stairwell in the burning and blind. The men walked through the heat and grabbed the creature by the throat and shoved it back down into the flames until it stopped moving. I thought Trevor would get shot twice in the test and be like, and run off.
Yeah, same. I was honestly expecting him to live somehow.
Just started laughing at him.
Yep.
Blocking Emma Frost's hammer with a fucking
With his bare
arm.
hand. Yeah.
And it breaks immediately.
Yep.
Okay, what? Okay. Who do I pair up with that character, anyways? After Mikan's death, Kobeni are exactly what terrified survivors often become. Jumpy, sleep-deprived, painfully alert, and one bad second away from collapse. Though the hospital annex on day 8 was all wrong rooms, rain dripped through the broken skylight, surgical lamps swung open on dead wires, hallways forked into darkness, lit by occasional lighting through frosted glass. Kobeni stumbled into the operating theater, both hands wrapped around the kitchen knife and eyes red from crying. Okay, she whispered to herself. Okay, just make it through one more hour, just at least one more. Then a voice behind her. You are making enough noise for 3 people, Kobeni spun. Hunk stood in the doorway, black gear, weapon low but ready. Besides him, Esther watched from the hall with the machine still patient. Kobeni almost screamed. I'm sorry, I didn't want to. Esther spoke first, calmer than Hunk, then lowered the knife. Kobeni looked at the knife she had forgotten she was even holding. Then the door on the opposite theater crashed open. Himiko sprinted through it, breathless, eyes wide. And behind her, ducking underneath the frame, was a horrifying, bone-deep violence came SCP-096. No one had time for diplomacy after that. Hunk moved first, shoving Kobeni sideways out of the theater lane as 096 crossed the room and jerking blur. The creature hit the opening table hard enough to flip it. You know what 096 is, right?
No.
It's the one that you look at, he just fucking hunts you down and rips you apart.
Let me look him up.
In the jerking blur, the creature hit the opening table hard enough to flip it into the wall. When Hunk rolled clear, Esther fired 3 rounds into its torso. It did not kill it, but it but to redirect. It drew his attention for a split second. Himiko shouted, "Don't let it! Don't let it see!" It's too late. Too late for everyone. Kobani is sobbing now, crawling back through the instruments. Hunk fire control burst into uh, 096 leg joints. The creature stumbled, shrieked, and launched itself at muzzle flashes. Elster met it halfway, steel pipe instrument rack, churning the impact enough for that 096 tore through the parchment wall instead of her chest. The room became splinters, steel, screaming. He could duck behind a medical screen and yelled, "Kabeni!" The other Kabeni, "Move! Move!" Kabeni tried. Her foot got caught underneath the wheel of a broken trike. 096 came to the wall. Hunk redirected her first, grabbed her shoulder and physically threw her towards the exit. That saved her. It left Himiko in the wrong line. She looked up from just in time to see 096 unfolding towards her as she shattered the screen frame. She shrieked as both hands in reflex. She shrieked, raised both hands in reflex, useless and defenseless, and it was hit instant, violent, and final. 096 drove her through a plaster wall from the and into the flooded corridor beyond. The impact sapped wood, pipe, and body altogether. Hunk fired again, dragging the creature's attentions back. Esther pulled Kobeni. Yeah, I put 096 with Himiko because I just had the idea that Himiko would just look up at her partner and get murdered.
Yeah. She's terrified.
When the cannon sounded, Kobeni collapsed in the stair, covered her mouth, and both hands were sobs. Stay small. Hunk checks the corridor. Esther checked Kobeni. No comforting words, no wasted breath, just survival. Hunk helping someone, impossible.
What the hell?
Hunk also not being alone immediately, also
True.
impossible. I'm gonna ask how many people are still even alive because I think only 12 are dead.
Yeah. These are very good scenes.
Yeah, 14 are dead. Okay. Okay. Holy crap.
Holy crab.
Holy crab. Holy crab.
Holy crab.
I'm a big supporter of the human race, let me tell you.
Love those guys.
Regicide at Trajan Citadel.
Yes.
I'll play. I can do something of Soul Calibur real quick, just so I can fucking think about something else.
Go.
Time to save the human race.
Yippee.
The cat man's in your pants. Or you just happy to see me?
Ew. Speaking of pants, I'll be back.
Oh my god, the song I was listening to just went perfectly with the Asbo's fucking super alt.
What?
That's really weird.
What just happened?
I was listening to a song, like the beat was going perfect with Asbo's like super ultimate, the human
Oh
race
shit.
ultimate.
Goes hard.
I think I only got that on you like twice, and one of them was because you did a foot attack as Asbo was floating in the air.
Mm.
Jesus Christ. favorite part about as a result is you just become shirtless.
Real.
Real.
She doesn't.
Anything significant? Nope. Shirtless. Ooh, that's my leg.
My leg.
Okay. Instead of having people, I just wanted to make sure that it did understand that some of these people were still alive, though.
Mm-hmm.
God, Chapter 5's just not fucking going. There you are.
Blip, blip.
Smile.
Smile demon.
Smile to the camera. Okay. That's the focus on some of the other jerks.
Good.
The district stands have tall mansions lined the narrow streets, balconies cracked, curtains wrought behind shuttered grass. Dracula versus Josephine Gabriel. The chapel. The chapel's courtyard, iron gates, stone saints waiting and watching. Joe's seed stood in the center, soaked but sincere. You're wounded, he says calmly. Across from Dracula steps from the fog, coat dark with rain and dried blood. And yet here I am. Behind Joseph, Gabriel drew his blade, light flickering around the edge. Joseph smiled. We can still avoid this, Dracula says, eyes flickers between them. No. Gabriel moves first, fast, precise, blade cut into the rain. Dracula met him head on, steel rang. Gabriel, still maiden, still mead. Gabriel fought like judgment given form. Every strike, direct, punishing, meant to end the fight quickly. Dracula fight like something that has seen centuries. Oops, let me turn down the music. Fluid, adaptive, and patient. They clash across courtyards, tearing through broken pews and stone pillars. Gabriel, don't commit too late. Gabriel lunged for a finishing strike. Dracula stepped inside of it, caught his arm, and drove him back into the chapel wall, hard enough to crack stone. Joseph moves, knife flashing. Dracula turned just enough, blade grazed him, not deep enough. Gabriel pushed forward again, refusing to yield. Heretic. Dracula caught him mid-strike, lifted him, and sent him down into the courtyard stone with crushing force. The impact echoed. Gabriel tried to rise. Dracula drove a hand through his chest. Like Gabriel's blade flickered out. Joseph froze, not in fear, in realization. He looked at Gabriel's body, then back at Dracula. You chose violence, Joseph said softly. Dracula wiped the blood from his hand. You brought it. Joseph backed away slowly, then turned to disappear into the fog. He did not try to avenge Gabriel. Not yet. I feel like Joseph is gonna fuck him up.
I don't. I would be very surprised.
He quite literally has God on his side.
Yeah. I don't think that'll be enough.
Dracula got fucking. Dracula got beat by fucking Thrag.
Yeah. Joseph Seed is just some dude.
Freddy beat Thrag.
True, but
I find
Freddy's
that
Freddy.
fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Thrag stands there, wounded, he's waiting to set victory. He looks to his right. Freddy.
Freddy. His final obstacle.
Abandoned opera house, broken chandeliers, torn velvet curtains, a stage warped by water damage. Oh my god, I'm having really bad nostalgia and that's pissing me off.
Them.
And today he made the first real move. Twice stood in the center aisle, arguing with himself. No, we shouldn't stay here. No, we should totally stay here. This place is cursed. Everything is cursed. Uh, correct, Lelouch said from behind a balcony above. Who is Lelouch from?
Code Geass.
Oh, who's the snail guy from Hunter x Hunter?
The snail guy. The ant?
Is it the ant?
Yes.
You're right. I think it is the ant.
Yeah. He's in the thing already.
He looks gross.
He's
He's like an
awesome.
old woman. Miriam.
No. Liar.
Is it the ant? No, the ant doesn't. Who looks like a fucking old lady?
Oh, Komugi? The girl who's like with the king?
In Calgo.
Calgo. What? That's just a little squid guy.
Why is he brought up? I don't know. They just. It's in Calgo. The fucking weirdo looks up. You sent me a picture of them randomly.
I see.
Who is this guy?
He's a
Chimera
octopus
Ant.
guy.
Flutter? Is that his name?
There's another character named Flutter. That's not it.
It's Flutter. That's the character I'm thinking of.
It was?
Yeah.
Weird.
Weird fucking ant dude. You sent me pictures of this guy randomly.
I don't remember that.
You don't?
No.
You would randomly send it and I would think about it and like, who the fuck is this dude?
I forgot about that guy.
You even remember him.
I do. He's a weird ass power.
He looks weird as hell.
Yeah. At one point they take
Like
over
Twice
his
panicked.
corpse.
Okay, we could talk this that. What?
The main characters like kill him and then they put like security cameras in his rotting corpse and just send him away.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Putting an Apple AirTag in someone's corpse.
Yep.
Where'd the guy go? Graveyard. We talked this out. He created 2 clones instantly, then 4, then 6. Defeaters throw this identical version of him, all shouting over each other, loose, even flinch. Interesting, but not complicated. Clayface surged forward, massive amorphous limbs sweeping through the clones. Each one got hit that dissolved quickly. Twice tried to scatter, then spread out, spread out. Clayface adapted, forming multiple tendrils, grabbing 2, 3, 4 at a time, crushing them. Real Twice tried to slip towards the exit. Lelouch's voice cuts to the chaos. You're the original. Twice froze. How? Because you hesitated. Clayface dropped from the balcony. Twice turned to run. Clayface engulfed him. There's a brief struggle, then stillness. He's dead. Holy
Damn.
shit. Vor! Lelouch descended the stairs. Efficient, he said. Johnny Cage adjusted his soaked jacket. You ever feel like you're in the worst vacation spot ever? Sand shrugged. I've seen worse. And a low growl cut through the rain. Atop the train car, Craven the Hunter smiled. They found... Craven the Hunter smiled. Finally, something unusual. Besides him, the Indoraptor eyes glowing in the dark. Johnny blinked. Oh, cool, dinosaur. I love that. Sand said his head. You take the guy, I take the lizard. Johnny cracked his knuckles. Deal. Craven leaped first, fast, precise, and brutal. Johnny met him head on, fists flying. Craven dodged, countered, and landed a solid strike to Johnny's ribs. Johnny winced. Okay, you hit harder than you look. Craven smirked. Then you talk more than you should. Meanwhile, the Indoraptor lunges at Sands. It hits nothing. Sands reappears behind it. Missed. Indoraptor spun faster this time. Sands dodged again. The creature was adapting. Each move became tighter, more accurate. Craven flipped it high, then struck low. Johnny didn't even see it coming. The blade pierced his side. Johnny started shocked. Okay, that one was good. Craven pulled his blade free. Johnny fell dead.
Damn.
Sands glanced over. Expression didn't change at all. His next movements did, though. Craven turned too late. A bone spike shot from the flooded track beneath him, straight through his chest. He looked down at it in surprise. Sands stood a few feet away. You should have dodged. Craven dies.
Holy shit.
Sand dodges from the Indoraptor, but this time it clipped him. He skid across the track, coat torn. He stood up slowly. Okay, he muttered, you're not bad. And then he vanishes into the fog.
Interesting fight.
I'm going to ask, these are all just kind of half-assed. I'm going to ask the two